Hello, people. Okay, so I'm make this bigger for me. So I'm on Facebook and tag on Monday. Oh, okay, it's awesome. At least you let me know when you're in town or whatever. So I have my tagged my Facebook, and then I'm recording um, all of it over here. So I'm on 3 platforms. You couldn't message me on here. That's weird, Aries. Okay, well, I will look into that. And if you fave me on Facebook, it's Miss Polly Wright, and then I'll be over there too. So, um, my favorite platform to go live on is Tagged. Thank you for holding my hearts. And I like going on Tag. I feel like the people there I've met make some good relationships, and there's a lot more conversation that takes place in Tag. And on Facebook, it's more of an in-out thing. I think people come in, jump in, and jump out, and it's not really necessarily like a focus thing. And so when I talk about poly things, I get a lot more content and conversation from my tag group, and then I bring it over here. And so I haven't really put anything on YouTube, but a couple of videos in which I'm going to be adding, hopefully this one to that. I'll be editing it and then adding it to it, and then we can have more conversations. Oh, that's a little nice little piece to have though. Conversations about poly life, polyandry, all those things. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, but sorry about those kids. They're out of line. Hey Zaya, come here for a second. So let me get a moment here, and I'll try to edit that out. Hey Zaya, I know I want you to come here because I'm not gonna keep doing this throughout. Um, Stop talking. I am live on 3 different platforms. I need you to be quiet. I'm not gonna keep asking you. No one's gonna keep yelling, or I'm turning off the TV and I'm shutting down everything, and everyone's gonna go to bed. That's all I'm saying. Goodbye. Because right now, no, this is interrupting right now. Goodbye. Figure it out. All right. What we wanted to talk about was a couple things today. I have my music set, so I'm gonna put that back on, and I'm gonna turn it down some. So, yes. So, we were gonna talk about today being polyandry, which a lot of women aren't out openly about being polyandry. I've met a good amount though, which is nice. But then I want to talk about being polyandry. Everything's good with me. Also, we were going to talk about kind of how to build a relationship as a polyandry woman with men, how to kind of first start that process, especially with men who are nervous, if or they most likely may be not polyandry. I've never really seen a man come say he's polyandry, who is actually um, polyandry, and he is also heterosexual. I've never seen a man who's heterosexual come up to me and be like, "Hey, I'm polyandry. Hi Rose, I'm polyandry, and I want to be with you," or I'm willing to practice polyandry. It's always more of a woman says I'm polyandry, and the guy's like, "Oh, okay," and he thinks about if he can do it. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's the kind of things I want to talk about. Is even more about being polyandry, and kind of how that kind of flow goes and how men feel about it. And the guys from my tag count will do that. I'm doing good. I'm not very naughty, Sadie Rose. So we were just talking about being polyandry. I'm gonna put some more videos up on my YouTube and things like that. So we're gonna be talking about that today. If you guys want to talk, interact, I know you guys will. So that's cool. And I put it on my Facebook too. Thank you for the gifts. Hi, how are you doing, sir? So I have a gentleman caller. I'm gonna call him that. He's on tag, and he wants me to stop being poly at some point and just be his boo, I guess. Is that right? Is that right? Right? He wants us to be friends, but he doesn't want me to have anyone else. He doesn't want to commit, but he wants me to be with no one else. How ridiculous! He wants to be selfish with me for 4 months.
Hey man, Trump didn't lose, man. Keep on voting, man. The votes still being counted. We ain't done yet.
You're being. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, once you get to a certain amount, it doesn't matter what he has. It's like knowing the 2 points that he may get from the state that he's hoping to win is not going to help him. Okay, you need. If you guys don't know, look up electoral votes. You need to know each state only counts for so many points.
Oh, you gotta love me now. Put the love symbol so I can come back.
Why? No more. We're not talking about Trump today. Trump or anyone else is not taking over this conversation tonight. We're talking about poly, and we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it.
You love talking about poly. You love that shit.
I do talk about poly. Lord Jesus, we talk about polyandry in my group. I don't talk about it all the time, but I do talk about relationships, polyandry, polyamorous, and polygamy quite a bit because a lot of people don't know about it. Just because you like to come see me a lot, which is nice, does not mean that everyone else knows about poly. It just means that you've heard it quite a bit.
Listen, I'll change your life, baby, if I have to get close to you. Nah, that ain't gonna work on me.
Someone requested that, sir. It wasn't for you.
Oh damn.
You see that? So he think it all about him. Okay. So yes, so we're gonna talk about being polyandry and how to start that process because a lot of women have started coming up. I've seen on my Facebook groups and stuff saying they want to be polyandry or they're considering it, and I want y'all to know. I think women are a little afraid to say they're polyandry because they don't know how men will react, and most men say no right away. They're really quick to say no. I'm not going to share you with anyone, and so then they're like discouraged. And then if they're already with someone, their answer most likely is going to be no.
No, I'm gonna tell them no, square out the back. No.
DC, that's what I'm saying. So, if you want to be polyandry, you might be like, I want to be polyandry. I like to be with more than one man. And a lot of women, they are already actually doing such. There are women who have, or just aren't with, they're just not committed to the men, but they are with 2 or more men on a regular basis. And they just tell the men that, you're not the only one. They kind of move on and just fuck around. Or the men don't know at all, which is still you practicing polyandry. You're just doing it incorrectly, and we want to poly right. Want to poly right, and so that's not the right way. The right way is not to lie and hide your identity. So we need to fix that.
Well, you used to hide your identity.
I did not used to hide my identity. As soon as I said I want to be polyandry, I continue to say I was polyandry. I do not hide my partners. If I see my partner, you'll know I see my partner. If I'm on the phone with my partner, you'll know I'm on the phone with my partner. I do not hide them. If I was on the phone with you, I would tell my partner that, oh, this is a guy I'm talking to, if I was talking to you. But this is a guy who's interested in being with me. I will say that. There's no reason to lie. Lies make you feel insecure. Because if I'm lying to you and you know I'm lying to you, all it does is make you feel a certain way. That why am I hiding something?
What if they still feel a certain way when you tell them?
That's okay, because we can talk about that. Because then we can say, well, why do you feel a certain way? If you know I'm not going anywhere and I'm showing you my hand, my cards, I'm saying, hey, these are people who talk to me. I'm not going anywhere. They're still there. I'm here with you. Hi, J-Boy. J-Boy, we can't do dark because I think people are showing stuff they ain't supposed to show. So, hey, Jay. No, okay. So being polyandry is a little difficult. Being polyandry can be very difficult at first. I would say that I would recommend starting polyandry when you're single. I will say that because a partner who is not polyamorous that you're with is going to have a really tough time transitioning from you being with him only. So transition will be hard. Hey, Jen.
I'm throwing her in the trash. If she can't be with me only, I'm throwing her away.
So
that's how it's going.
Yes.
From now on.
Right.
I'm gonna ask a woman, every woman I meet, are you polyamorous? that shit is. Are you that?
You should ask. You should find out if a person's polyamorous or polyandry or polygamous or is willing to practice those things. Probably the first date or two.
No, yeah, I'm gonna ask you
So
that.
no,
Are
and
you
Jen, I had to do
polyamorous?
some stuff. I kept getting interrupted by business questions. Jen with the grin. Um, but yeah, we're basically talking poly today, Jen. Talking about being polyandry and how women want to start it and possibly proceed with starting a new pod of men. We're all heterosexual. There are pods who are not all heterosexual, but they will then turn into polyamorous. So, one of those things. So you got to kind of know what you are, what you're representing. But if you are a gentleman and you're interested, you're not going to be interested. I wouldn't see a heterosexual man saying, "I'm interested in being polyandry." Like I said earlier, I just haven't ran into it. I find it weird. But I will tell you this: this is what you will hear. This is what you will hear. I don't have enough time to have a full-time girlfriend. I've heard that. If she's out here, I know she might be messing around with someone else. I mean, it's okay as long as she comes home to me. These are signs that they're a little on the line. They're not gonna say I'll be that way, but they're on the line. I want time for just me. Will you have time for just me? I don't care what you do outside of that. Like that, those are signs that they're on the line and they're okay with some things. If you kind of hear those things as a woman, you should probably they want to ask more questions if they're willing to be polyandry with you. A lot of guys don't like it. I'm just gonna tell the truth. They don't want to know that there's someone else. Can't fix those kind of things. But I noticed that when I went into a dating situation and I was like, "Hey, I'm polyandry," and they asked me a lot of questions. I think I've never had so many questions asked by men in my entire life until I tell them polyandry and I tell them what it means, and then they have to kind of figure out if that's something they want to do or can they do it. That whole process seems to be very like they're just talking, very talkative because they want to know so many things. And so, yeah, are you polyandry? Was it? So I I hear what you're saying, but I didn't. There are some men who are okay with it. They don't mind. If you're a polyamorous man, you won't mind if I was with other people because you're already okay with that. So it depends on who you are, though. If you're polyamorous, you'll probably be fine. You won't have no issue with it. Well, you see, so our friend over here said I'd fuck you up, and I was like, the whole point is that you already know that I'm not with you. You know, that's someone who's already polyamorous. They already know I'm not with you. So it's not really like confusion.
You know what? Fuck all that. If I ever see my woman, she tell me, "Oh, I'm probably grandma." I'm gonna tell her, "You know what? It's over. You know what? Let me take your ass to the clinic. They might have gave me some shit."
Wow. So now you're saying that you think she was cheating on you. You think she would be cheating on you?
Yeah, but if she ever give me some shit, she did. I ain't gonna mind playing with that.
But being polyamorous, being polyandry, and being polygamous does not mean you're cheating. You're aware of that, right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
But they both are the same thing. Whatever say poly.
They're not the same. They're not the same. So this gentleman here, this is how I know you don't pay attention to me when I'm talking in my lives. You come in here and stare at me. Because he don't even know the difference between the three. And this man been coming in my life for about 3 months now, and he's still saying the same foolishness. So I know he wasn't paying attention. You better stop looking at me.
You're not gonna make me understand that.
You don't have to. Okay, it's not about you being okay with it. It's about you knowing what it is. Is that fair?
Nah. I'm trying to take you out of polygraphy is whatever you need, baby. I told you I got you.
No, you don't. You have to. I just want to educate. people about what polyamorous is, polyandry, and or polygamy. I want you to know what it is and be able to respect people for what they're doing. I'm not asking you to join. I'm not asking you to say that's the right thing for me. I'm not saying none of that stuff. I'm saying respect people, know what they're doing, so that when you have a conversation with them, that you're being appropriate and mindful of what you're doing. That's all. That's all. And so that's it. That's all I can ask. Is that fair? I think that's fair.
Y'all make sure now. Y'all ask the person that you date that's they polygrammies.
You should ask someone you should already know. I put that I'm polyamorous in every bio I have. I talk about it every day, and yet there are men who come in here and ask to date me privately, which makes no sense.
Well, listen though, we see Miss Polly. We might think you a Monopoly girl.
What?
You know what I'm saying?
It does not say. It does not say. It doesn't say Monopoly. It says Miss Polly.
Okay, but some of the people, some of the black, I'm like, hey man, y'all know what polygamy means? They're like, oh, what is that?
Well, first off, you're saying it wrong. Polygamy or polyandry or polyamorous? Which one?
Polygamy. I'm gonna answer that.
Okay.
They don't know what that is. Nobody don't know what that shit is.
Well, now you're gonna teach them. I want you to go tell someone that you know what it is.
I ain't
Why?
telling nobody I know what it is. I'm just asking.
You're gonna add. You're not gonna. Oh man.
Polygenerous, whatever that shit is. I'm just asking for that. If they say no, then I know you over here doing some crazy stuff.
Oh Lord. Okay. Well, our friend here, he's just silly. So absolutely, you should know if someone's poly. Being honest and truthful with anybody you're going to be with is a very important step to dating. You should always be upfront about who you are, what you're doing. I'm not saying give someone your whole life story when you first meet them. I find that a little ridiculous. There's some people you don't know if you'll even like for 10 minutes. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when you're in a relationship and you start talking to someone, you say hi to them, you get to know them, you get the general information. Do you have kids? Do you work? What is your education? What are those things? Blah, blah, blah. The first kind of information that gives you a general bio of yourself. Those things should be there. Then after that, once you're on about, 3 or 4 dates, then, you might start asking them specific questions about themselves. But you should really ascertain if someone's poly, bam, like on the first date. That's like a first date question. And then not just are you poly, what kind of poly are you? Some polys just don't work together. No matter what you do, it's not going to work. And I have been close to making things work, but the whole program doesn't work together. They have different beliefs, so that doesn't work. Then, on top of all that, what I'm saying? I just think that everybody who was quote unquote, women of it's summertime, Megan Stallion, all this stuff started coming out in summer. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be hot girl summer and all that good stuff. You know what I'm talking about. I didn't have a problem with that. Women were coming out saying, the Me Too movement came out. All this stuff is happening. And women are really trying to empower themselves and feel more equal to their partners and their male partners, not like in a relationship, just males in general. And so I think if you're going to empower yourself, that's wonderful. I did not agree with some things that are happening. So now saying hot girl summer is more like saying women out here acting like men. They're just running around, screwing everybody, don't care. All they want is to worry about money. You give them some money, you fuck them right, and then they pass you on. Like we're turning to heartless animals. That's not true. You know what I'm saying? I don't really. I think we're trying to empower ourselves and let men know that we can do what you're doing too. But I don't think that that's the right message to give out. If that's what was given out, is that we're heartless and you can't trust us because we're gonna fuck you and your friend It don't matter. That's the kind of message that I felt like a lot of people were getting, men were getting, is that, oh, these women out here are doing crazy stuff. They're acting like straight dudes. And I'm like, oh God, okay. Um, you know, no, we're acting like humans, but whatever. Uh, and so what people coming out as polyandry, it's kind of coming off as a, oh, you're just wanting to do more than one man. You just want more than one dick. All that stuff, and that's not necessarily true. And it is a little bit hard to explain to anyone how you feel about being in love with more than one person, and how you feel about caring for more than one person at a time. And so to add on to that, that there's men who just they can't fathom how you can be with more than one guy, or they think that's wrong, or they think it's hoish. And then I'm like, okay, but it's not hoish when you have two girlfriends, or if I told you that I was a guy and I had three girlfriends, you'd be like, oh man, you doing it, that. But now that I'm a woman, I'm telling you, I have three men, and I care about them deeply. You're telling me that I'm wrong. Um, Hi, Tony. I find that very strange. So, how are you doing there, guys? I see you on Facebook. But I do think if you want to pursue coming out as a polyandry person, um, or woman, you should definitely try to do it as a single situation without anyone. That'd be the best scenario. Promote what you're doing. Tell people that you're polyandry. Um, I've come across men who do this thing where I say, "Oh, I'm polyandry," and the first thing out their mouth is, "Oh, okay." I have a follow up question, which is, "Do you know what that is?" Because a lot of people don't know what it is, and then they're like confused, and they'll say, "Yeah," and they don't know, and then I explain what it is, and then that's when all the questions come pouring out. Remember that since you are probably going to um, date monogamous men, if you are, you're going to come across a lot of questions because people aren't used to meeting people like that. My night's good, Tony. So people are going to say, how many men do you have? Do you like to all have sex at once? These are like the main questions I get asked mostly. Do you all have sex at once? Um, you know, where's your time? Do you have a schedule? Then the question is like, you know, do you end up having to give someone less time? It's a lot of detailed questions that they ask because they're nervous about it. Do you like him as much as you like me? Um, then it kind of turns competition-y a little bit. It okay. I noticed that men like to have an order. They like to be like, I'm number one, two, three, four. A lot of people, depending on how, some people like, uh, having that first, second, third, fourth spot. I don't. I don't personally like it. But I will say this: if I first meet you, of course not. You're not going to be the closest to me because I have partners I've been with longer. That's just common sense. But if we get to a point where I'm in love with both of you, then I feel like you're on an equal level of play. That's not, when you reach love with me, we're all loved. There is no, you love me better, I love you a little more. It's the same for me. But there are people who have spots. I notice the men in my pod like to make spots. Even new ones who come, they like to know who's been there before them, and they kind of be like, okay, so he's kind of like your number one. But I'll tell you, it doesn't matter because no one has like a set job to do in our relationship. It's not like, oh, I go to one because he pays the phone bill and no, 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 no. That I don't have that. I live independently from my partners. Yes, I've asked for help here and there, but that's just general. Oh, okay, hey, can you give me a ride today? My car messed up. Those kind of things. That just seems natural to ask of someone that you're close to. Um, but no, I've never been like, you pay this. And I'm actually in a phase in my life where I want to be more independent for myself as a woman. So my men aren't like overbearing into my stuff. And it is me on purpose making it that way. Um, and that's just for me. But yeah, absolutely. You want to be able to kind of say this person, we, we go out this day, this day, this day. Some people like organization like that, so they kind of know the rule. I notice men kind of like more guidance, and I think that's because they've been kind of programmed to say, hey, when they're with the woman, they kind of get rules. Women give a set of rules usually for their men, or they talk about things they like, and the men kind of follow those rules to keep the woman happy, right? Quote unquote. And say, oh, I don't like when you leave toilet seat up, things like that. They'll know general rules. Don't go on Facebook talking and liking pictures and all that stuff. I don't have those things because a lot of those things are from jealousy and insecurities. And so for me, a lot of those check marks that guys are all in a huff about, and they're like kind of like rules and structure. That's what I think it's from, because they're like, well, if I know my place and I know what I'm doing, then I won't mess up, or things won't get sloppy and it won't work out. And for me, it's not necessarily that way, because I'm I don't have those kind of boundaries. If you like someone on Instagram, or you like a girl's pic, or you look at a girl's ass, or you tell me you saw someone that's very attractive to you and it turned you on, I'm not going to be mad at you. So that kind of takes away a lot of stress. I'm not going to be upset with you. If you show me something, I'm going to be okay. Does it mean I'm going to show you men that I think attractive? No. I'm not going to do that, especially when I know you're already probably monogamous and you're transitioning to being polyandry or polyamorous, or just being more open-minded about your love situation. I'm not going to throw that at you. You have to be very sensitive to your transitioning partner. If you're with someone who's going from monogamy to any other poly relationship, be sensitive to them, and know that the things you do and say are going to trigger them very easily. Okay, so telling your boyfriend that you found a new partner, it triggers them quite a bit. So that's another thing. You know, After once you've already placed that in, and now you have your partner, adding new partners, the one you added last is always going to have a little insecurity about the one behind them. And that's really a reason, is because they are so worried that why did you decide that you still needed another? That is a big one. Then that starts making them feel like they're inadequate. One of my boyfriends says it a lot. He says, I'm feeling inadequate. When sometimes you do things, and I get what he's saying. You can feel inadequate because I'm adding more people, and you're like, well, why aren't I feeling that void for you that I thought you had? And for me, it's not even necessarily a void. I found someone who is giving me something, whatever that is emotionally, and I really enjoy their time, and I'm willing to give them some of my time and share that with them. It's really not something that you're doing in a bad, negative way that's triggering me to go outdoors, out into the world and find another partner. And I think that is what triggers them. They're like, oh shoot, I'm doing something wrong. That's why she's looking. That's not true. That's not true. And when I say I'm dating still off and on, I want to tell people this. I think I kind of got a way to say it now that sounds better. When I tell people, ask me, are you dating? I say I'm poly. And what I mean by that is, if I have an opportunity to meet with someone, interact with them, and I find them very attractive, and I'm stimulated by them mentally, there's a possibility that I will open up my pod to include them. It does not mean that I'm always looking. It does not mean I'm always looking. And then sometimes I've noticed I've had to tell myself, hey, I know you're interested in these many men, but you need to stop, because it's not going to work out. And I have done such a thing. And I'm still, like I said, I work through struggles being a poly person too, where I found myself, if I feel a certain way, or I feel neglected, or not, I'm not getting what I believe I should get from my partners, sometimes I'll entertain other men, because there's lots of men who try to talk to me. I entertain them. And I'm mad at that, but I was like, okay, they're talking to me. And I just have a conversation with them because I'm bored, because no one's talking to me that day. And then they just, I kind of like them. They're kind of cool. I open up a door And sometimes I'll do that, and I'm like, you know what, I'm talking, but I'm not necessarily going to want to date them, but I don't want to ruin their friendship. So I'll have a lot of that happen sometimes, and I've had to say, okay, you know what, you got too many things, or you're maybe misleading some gentlemen that it's going to be more than what it is. And I'm not saying that it's not with everyone, but there are some men that maybe I just think they're interesting as a friend, but not necessarily someone to date. And you got to know that. And when you know that, then you want to let them know too, because you don't want them to feel like you're dragging them along on some long friend. I'm gonna have a time to be your, partner, and they're not. Um, so obviously you want to be open about that. Um, so when you're trying this out, ladies, like back to what I was saying about hot girl summer. I want women to feel good about making the choice to be polyandry, kind of knowing the steps to be in polyandry, not worrying about the men. I know a lot of women are like, I want to be polyandry, but I've been shut down. I'll tell you, a lot of it has to do with approach and how you talk. And I'm gonna tell you, I mean, I don't believe it's true all the time, but I think I can talk some people into a lot of things occasionally. But I want them to feel good about the choices they're making. But I also want them to give me the opportunity. Men seem to be very on edge, and really, have trust. They want to trust someone. And so what happens is you go into your relationship, hey, reckless, and you go into a relationship knowing that this person's polyandry, and you're really worried about having that trust with them. Are they in this 100%? And that is another question. Men are like, so she's not really committed to me. She's just kind of with me, but she's not committed to me. That is not true. That is not true. I am committed to you. I am individually with you all the way. All the way. I'm committed to you as if it's only me and you in this relationship. And if you can't um, feel that or know that, then that's a problem. So when we're trying to represent being polyandry, we really need to go in there, being very open-minded to hearing these men out, being patient, because a lot of them have not been in a situation like this, and it's very, it's nerve-wracking for them. They won't say it, but it is. You see them like, oh, in their mind, everything's, does she really like me? Well, why is she trying to talk to me? Does she just want to have sex with me? And a lot of questions that we ask as women, men ask themselves also. So don't think that men are have no feelings, and they're, uh, you know, they're just empty guys, men with penises. That's what I think a lot of women go to in their mind. We think, okay, all they want to do is fuck. So I'm gonna treat them like they have no feelings, and that's not true. Um, Men have feelings, and they want to be loved and cared for just like everyone else. They may do it differently. They might show it differently, but it's all the same. Everyone wants to feel loved and cared about, and so we should remember that when we talk to our partners and treat our partners as so. It does not mean you're oh, you're gay or whatever, because you're in touch with your feelings. Absolutely not. Being able to communicate with your partner and share things with them is a wonderful place to be with a partner, and being open with them in that space is like, I can't even explain to you how good it is to feel like you can be yourself. You can tell them anything. You can share anything with them. And I know everyone's like, oh, well, you can't tell them everything because people fall apart. But you can tell them damn near everything. Hey, Gemini, you can really open up to a partner. That feeling's wonderful. If I mess up and I come to you and I say, I just want to know, I want you to know I need a safe place right now. I've done something wrong, and I need you to hear me out. And I'm not saying don't be mad at me. I'm saying listen to what I'm saying has happened, and then let's try to work on it. That's something you want to be able to do with a partner, any partner you're with. And so building that trust and that friendship with a partner takes time. Yes. Is it worth it? Absolutely. And so I think that being polyandry is really special because of that. Because men don't really have that opportunity to do that. When you have to have lots of trust. Men have to have lots of trust in me or a woman. You're basically letting them, you know, love you and care for you, and you have to trust that they're saying what they they're saying, they mean what they say, and that whatever happens, amongst their other partners is not going to you know take away from you. And it's really nice to see it. If you can see it, if you have the opportunity to see it, it's very lovely. Also, with people who are polygamous, kind of the same thing. I still think it's different because it's just a man and he has two women, and women naturally are coming and taking care of men. They're nurturing, so they're more easy uh, to gather trust from. You can tell a woman a lot and say, "I want you to trust me," and do the right things for her, show her that you're trustworthy, and still be able to get other women. And there's some men who are polygamous and who don't do that. They're like, "Hey, listen, I'm the head of this, and I'm going to talk to other women, and you're going to be okay with it, and I'm not going anywhere, and you're staying with me." And they're like, "Okay, I trust that he's doing that." And they have to mentally be okay with that, and that's still hard. But for a man to do that, it's basically you're asking them to come out of the societal, you know, position they're in, and asking them to change their whole mindset and trust me that this is going to be worth it. And they're like, "This bitch is crazy." That's what that's what I think they think at first. This woman's crazy and she's talking wild, and I don't think I'm gonna like this. But maybe because the other stuff hasn't worked, or maybe because it's been a while and I want to try something new. But that first initial transition for them is very difficult. There needs to be a lot of reassuring, a lot of communication. So I already take pride in doing that, being very open, communicating, sharing, making them know that, or letting them know that I care about them, and I want them to do the same for me. I'm not breaking down their walls is a little hard. I do see them sometimes doing some weird things, like I think that a lot of them think, "Well, you have other men, so if I don't call you, if I don't do something as much as the other ones, there's someone to take that away from me." No, 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 no. You can't be replaced. I'm with you for a reason. People aren't replaceable. If you leave me, I know you're left. If you're not talking to me, I know you're not talking to me, and there is an issue because I made or I have time for you. So if you're not giving me the time that we've discussed that we were going to do together, then you're not meeting the needs that you told me that you can meet earlier. If I told you I could take on 3 guys, and you just said, "Okay, well, I want to be your third," and then now you're saying, "Oh, well, don't you have other guys? I don't have to call you as much." No, that wasn't a discussion. The discussion was, you're going to be with me, and that what I'm doing over here is I'm managing my time, and I know what I'm doing. I know that I'm with you on this day, this day. If you have a schedule, I know I'm with you. And so if you're not doing your part by being with me, or communicating with me, or interacting with me like a normal relationship or a monogamous relationship, then you're not doing your part as my partner. So I think that sometimes men get confused on that. There's like little things that they do that you just have to be patient with and communicate with them, because sometimes they don't realize they're doing it. And then you have to be like, "Hey, you're doing this," and have that conversation. And a lot of guys get scared when a woman's like, "Oh, I want to talk to you." Sometimes don't be scared of a conversation. Conversation's not scary. Conversation just means we have something we need to talk about. "Hi, how are you, babe?" So I love women. I see you guys. Everybody who came in, hi, how are you doing? I wish somebody would hold my heart if you can. That'd be wonderful. There's not a lot of people who came in the room. I know everyone's not in here. It is 9 o'clock on the weekend. I know everybody's probably clubbing and having fun, so that's okay. But I just want to kind of get my first time. Thank you, hey Renegade. Talk about being polyandry tonight, um, and talk about how it's kind of difficult or not difficult. And if anyone had any questions tonight, you could ask them. And I'm doing that on my live and Facebook, and I'm on live on Tagged, and I'm also recording for my YouTube channel. So this is my first time for my YouTube channel. I'm recording with my camcorder I just bought. It's not the greatest quality, but we're going to still try it. And then we're going to also upload it, and then upload everything else, and then see how that goes, because I want someone to have some nice videos and everything. So hopefully it'll work out. I know tag's more of an in out situation, and then people come look at my videos afterwards. And then on YouTube, I'm trying to make it all fancy, but I thought it would be nice to add personality to my video because when I interact with my tag group, I have more personality on there because interaction when I'm on the video by myself is not really as spicy as it could be or crazy. But I'm going to try to work on my editing skills and all that. It's going to be a wonderful journey. So I'm hoping that you guys will be happy with it. And then that way, when I have my tag conversations that are great, they can also be played on YouTube and they don't miss out. And then for some reason, Facebook doesn't allow me to copy it and send it over to YouTube. It's like Facebook just is like, F you, lady. We're keeping our stuff. So, because I was going to just record on live and then save it, pop it on YouTube, and call it a motherfucking day. And maybe there is a way to do it still, but I don't know. And I'm not going to be fighting with myself. And I also thought I could record it and then record it on Facebook and then put it up on my record it on my phone from my Facebook and then put it on my YouTube. So I mean, there was just a lot of things, and then just got crazy. I might have to invest in getting an iPhone, which iPhone Android fighters out here, what's up. But I do like my Android. But we're gonna do one step at a time. Be patient with me. But yeah, I like talking about poly stuff. If you guys had any questions you wanted to ask about being poly, feel free to do that. I have a group, Poly Right. My whole purpose really is to help people poly the right way, and just not even just poly the right way. Build a good foundation, because as a poly person, you're already looked at as if you're not doing relationships right, and that's why you went to poly anyway. And I want people to know that's not why we all went to poly. Maybe some people did, and I'm not saying that, but if they did, let's get them on the right path. Let's give them the right information to start good foundations so that we can make good relationships. And when you leave a relationship, I want you to leave with a positive taste in your mouth. Even if we didn't get along or something didn't work out, I want you to have a positive interaction of some sort you can take with you to your next relationship that can be helpful for you as a person and to build yourself up right. So that's why I kind of want to be out there helping people do that, because I'm just tired of seeing people so sad and I feel like once you hit 40, a lot of people who, if you're not with someone already, you're just with them because you just want someone to be with. And if you're not just with them, just be with someone. And maybe you have a good relationship, that's also an option. But at this point, you may be looking for someone. And I feel like a lot of, they just get down to just being about sex. Hey, Miss, let gives a shit. We're just talking about poly stuff. Why? What are you doing? So I want people to know that, like, okay, being poly and being over 35 or whatever doesn't mean that, like, our relationships are stupid. Oh, okay. I want them to know that, like, I want something real from my poly relationships, and it's important. It's really important to me to make sure that, I'm representing it right. It really is, because me caring about more than one person at one time is important to me, and for them to know that I care about them in a special way is important. And I want them to know that and share that with everyone else, and share that I make them happy. So definitely, when you get to a certain age, you want to be able to, not have to deal with, oh, we just gonna screw, we just hang around and screw all the time. And I don't like, nobody really wants that, but they don't want the drama either. No one wants the drama of getting with someone, putting labels on it and all that, because it just turns into a shit show. And then if you're just fucking different people, then, and nobody, like, come on, nobody wants to do that. We want to build something nice with someone and have good experiences with them. And it's all about that build. So I really do want to advocate for being poly, and hopefully share that experience with other people, and know that there's other options for you. If being monogamous is not for you, there's other things you can do. So yes, that's what I've been doing. So I'm going to put this stuff on my YouTube do some editing on my video. I'm also going to. I'm just gonna let live take. Live is gonna be live. Whatever happens, I'm just gonna go ahead and post it. And my tag obviously is not saved. It's just one time hit or quit. Just get in there, do what you gotta do, and get out. So it's gonna be a very good, unique experience. I actually like this setup per se. How it's on three and like, yeah, I'm gonna get my corner set up. I have a lot of good ideas for that. We're also gonna start doing a little section on my YouTube. Is all this is under Miss Polly, and it's gonna YouTube about being fit. I'm starting to go back to CrossFit, so I've been doing that. I started yesterday. I was supposed to go today, but I got myself sore. But I'm gonna do a little bit of exercise tonight and tomorrow because they're closed. And then on Monday, I'm gonna start doing my 4 times a week. So I want to go in there hardcore and do light stuff at first, but keep it going. My goal is to tone it up, get it tight, and kind of get back to where I was pre-COVID, and then after that, I really want to get out the 200s. My goal is to get out the 200s. It's been this way for about a year now, and I need to get out the 200s. So you got to really get eating right, and we're going to talk about food prep, eating right, on a little segment and just being healthy, talking about poly, giving information out about poly, and they're also going to be talking about a series with my relationships and how they're going, just to give the people an example of how poly is for me. I don't always stay with the same men. I do date. I do have to sometimes, I lose a partner sometimes, and so that's something that happens. And it's just life. And then when I lose partners, kind of how that is for me, because I'm, some partners are fairly new. What triggers me to lose a partner, things like that. So we'll talk about those things. And so these are the kind of things I want to talk about on my YouTube channel. And then at some point, we're gonna have maybe another little series about something like. I'm very artsy. I like to craft and make things, and so I'm gonna incorporate just how to make life a little better. I'm a mom. I have a lot of children, and so all those things we can talk about because they're kind of at the end of the day they're all corporate about being the best me that I am, and how hopefully I encourage you guys to be the best you are, and knowing that we all are not perfect and we make mistakes and we trip and fall and it's okay, and just trying our best to be, the best us. And so whatever that is for you, just try to keep doing that. So yes, that's what I want to do. So I think that that's the end for my video today. So I'm gonna stop that and go edit that in a little bit. Okay, so my video is done, and then for tagged over here, I'll keep going, but I'll leave this down for my live here. Since I'm not doing anything right now, I'm just gonna post it because I think people were talking to me. I wasn't even talking to them. Let me see before I leave the message. Oh wow. Okay, Felipe seems like he's the only one talking for a while. Yeah. There's a little German named Felipe. Alright, Evan. So I also will be my YouTube and put to Miss Polly Wright. Okay. Let me check it out. Check out that. Hang on one second, because I'm gonna go back on. I'm just gonna stay live on tag. Just 1 second. And then also I'm going to be selling shirts. My shirts, kind of representing things. I want to give some out to some people on tag. We're going on our tagged account. If you haven't gone to tag, my name is Miss Polly there too. What we'll be doing on tag is I'm going to start my community again meetings. I had community meetings for poly people. I was really putting it out there. We're going to have community talks about being poly. What happened with that is I think got a little standstillish because I kept kind of having to go over what poly was to a few people, a lot of people already knew what poly was at that point, and we had talked about it. So then we're gonna have to do a little bit more content, and I will start sending them maybe to Facebook and YouTube to get the information they would like to have. That's general, and then have our conversations um, intact, more planned out, so that it's it's a little bit more spicier. And then we also have regular conversations in there about all kinds of stuff. We do talk like sexual and things like that, obviously. So it's going to be a very fun experience for that. Oh, okay. So yeah, I'll answer that for you, buddy. So he asked what's the difference between being poly and being a swinger. Okay, so swingers are married couples. Sometimes they're not married, but most likely they're married. And basically, they're going to swap with another couple. Not necessarily a couple all the time, but usually a couple. They're going to have one man, one girl, one man, one girl. Or it could be something different. Then they're going to swap, but they're going to go back to their main partner. Their main partner is always your main partner. You're never going to be equal to their main partner. So if me and my husband get together and we go to a club, I meet another guy, now he lets the other guy fuck me because we're swingers and he watches. Even if we do that for a year or two, the guy who keeps fucking me is never going to have the same. He's not going to be equal to my husband. He's just someone I have sex with. It's a sexual situation. And it's only sexual. Now a lot of swingers get caught up and they try to make relationships outside of that, which means there was something else going on. Poly, any of the poly groups are committed relationships. You are committing to a partner. You are my boyfriend, and that partner, if you get another partner, let's say the same situation. The guy who's coming into our group, he's not just having sex with me. We're going on dinner dates, we're spending time together, or we're being intimate mentally.
Okay, I'm listening. Go ahead.
So you do have a chance, an opportunity to be just as important as my main partner. That's the difference.
Okay.
So you can, yeah.
I was in a swingers relationship. I just wanted to know what the difference was.
Yeah. If you're a swinger, it's more sexual.
So basically, it's like, just using you for example, right? You can be in a relationship with a dude, and I can still be in a relationship with you, and be in another whole real relationship with another woman.
For polyamorous?
Yeah.
Polyamorous, they kind of connect. Now, polyamorous people, they make it what works for them. So yeah, it's very possible. But they're actually like together.
But that's a lot, though. That's just a lot. Like that's
Not
just
okay. This is the part I say it's those polyamorous people who are like that. They're polyamorous, not polyandry. Polyamorous people who do that, it's called a web, and they made it so that it fits them. Have you ever seen? Okay, it's on Showtime. They have a TV show on Showtime, and it's they're a spider web. There are two poly couples. They're both married, and they're a couple together. So they're a married couple. They individually have partners. Also, so there's 4 of them, and they individually have their own partners that they're with. So one of them, the reason why it works for him is because one of them, he's married, and remember I said there's 4 of them. They're married, and they're together. But the 2 guys, he one's heterosexual, so he doesn't want nothing to do with the guy. The other one's bisexual, and so he has an individual relationship with another man. But his wife's not involved because, you get what I'm saying? So he's bisexual. Do you get what I'm saying? So that works for them because the heterosexual man who's in the partnership with all of them doesn't want to have sex with him, but he may be okay with being in the same room with him, having sex with next to him, all that. But he's not attracted to men. So then he has his own separate relationship outside of that.
Okay, so basically, poly is the love for everyone?
So poly, the word poly just means more than one relationship with one person. There's different kind of poly relationships.
Okay.
So there's polyandry, which is one woman who dates men individually who don't date each other. Then there's polygamous. That's one man dating women who don't date each other. They're platonic. So they now if they have a sexual relationship, it's still going to be polygamy. It's just they have a sexual encounter every once in a while, and that doesn't count. That still makes them polygamous. I already set the box. So polyamorous is the one that can get big. There's different kind of polyamorous relationships. There's the tripod. It's
I just don't get it because they all sound so much alike.
But they're not.
That's why.
Yeah, they're not.
Okay, so which one are you?
And then you don't have to stay the same. So currently I'm polyandry because I'm dating. Right. I'm polyandry currently because I'm dating men individually.
Okay. I mean, for you to, but you're single. So in okay, are you single or are you married?
I'm not married. And I date individual men separately. Okay. Nobody lives with me.
You're really ingenuine. You're single. You're really just single.
I'm not.
Really
oh, my boyfriends would hate for you to say that. They'd be very upset. I'm not single.
Okay. Well, see, for you to be poly, you would have to be in a major relationship with somebody and still seeing other men.
No. I'm in a major relationship with all of them.
How do you do it? Because I don't have a whole bunch, and it's rough. So I'm trying to figure this out. Please break it down. How do you do it? It's rough.
How's it rough?
You know, I've had 4 or 5 girls at one time, just having to be here, having to be there, do this.
Oh, scheduling.
Somewhere there has to be.
Okay, so it sounds like you got with. Hey, Chris. Hey, Waltavius. So there's okay. So first off, you got to start with step 1. This is what happens. Most people who want to be poly, they just jump into it, just saying, "I'm gonna get a whole bunch of girlfriends." You cannot do that. You need to find out what it is that you need first. Listen to what I'm saying, and what you need and what you want from a relationship prior to dating anyone. If you want to, so for me, for example, I know I get busy. And I don't like to call people back all the time. And I like doing my own thing. Sometimes I can go ghost on niggas for a while. Sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. And then sometimes I really want to be up under people. Sometimes. So I said I date men who are very busy. Men who are busy. I like to date men who are busy, who have shit to do. Because if they're not busy, they're worried about what the fuck I'm doing, right? Don't do that. So I'm not going to date a man who's very needy. And it's okay if you... There are men who are needy that women like. But you got to know it's just being smart. Why would I date someone who's very needy but I don't have the time?
I'm being serious. You sound like a woman who has been taught the game and she actually listened.
What game though? I'm telling you, this is true.
Listen to what I'm saying.
I heard you, but it's true. It's facts.
I'm from Chicago.
Okay, this is facts.
You sound like a girl who knows. You sound like a woman who thinks like a man but acts like a lady.
I don't know.
That's how you sound. You sound like you know. It's like you sound like you know and you have accepted every type of man.
I think I have the understanding of a man because I've been put in a man's shoes multiple times.
Continue.
Okay.
It's very interesting.
I date men who are very busy.
I told you I lived
I date
in swinging life for 8 years.
Okay.
I know about swinging life and all that. So continue, Seth. You gotta get a busy man. Go
For
ahead.
me, this is all for just me. A busy man. I like a man who likes to communicate. That's for me because I like to talk a lot and I like to ask questions. I like to know how you feel. I like to ask a lot of questions. So a man who communicate is very attractive to me. It is not a no go, but I like to talk about how you feel and how am I doing, blah blah blah.
What's your sign?
Hmm? Okay,
What's your sign?
Sagittarius,
Okay.
and
Continue
then
again.
that's basically my biggest thing right there. Those are the two big ones. If you hit those, I'm pretty okay with everything else. I'd like you to be motivated to some degree because that kind of ties in with being busy. If your ass is just not busy, oh sorry about that. If your ass is not busy, then you're gonna be once again too wrapped up in all the other shit's going on. Okay. Um. Other than that, I'm pretty okay. I'm open to whatever you're gonna give me. So those are the big two ones. So if I start to talk to you, I'm usually listening, but usually a lot of guys ask me a lot of questions. I think
Okay.
they asked me a lot of questions about being poly, and I've had someone say I'm very monogamous. I don't think I could be with you, and I said, well, you want the worst thing that could happen is you don't like it, and we just decide not to be together, right? And so I usually I
Where are you born at? Where you grew up at?
I was born in Nebraska, but I lived in Florida since I was 11.
I knew it. I knew it. You know what? You know how they say everybody's gonna meet someone eventually in their life that thinks just like them. You think you have you have read in between the box. I don't know who gave you the box, but you read it and you you maneuver. You maneuver. It scares me to be able to actually meet a woman that I actually really want, that believes everything that she's saying. Like what I mean by that is you can be I've met in my lifetime, people can believe it. I
Mhm.
have a famous cousin, so I've met a lot of famous women. I've met a lot of women in my lifetime. I've slept with a lot of them in my lifetime. Um, I still haven't met one that didn't catch some type of feelings.
Okay.
You
So
understand what I'm
so
saying?
you actually don't want to
Somehow,
connect to anyone. You don't want to connect to anyone.
um, well, at the age I am now, I'm 39. Um, I do, now that I'm single, actually, I do, but at the same time, I'm still looking for that person that's not going to get bored. You
Oh,
understand what I'm
okay.
saying? Like,
Well,
by
that's
being in a swinging,
interesting.
by being in a swinging relationship for 8 years,
Well, what makes it
although
boring?
I own,
What gets it boring? What makes it boring?
now that I'm single, I'm not purposely, and not intentionally, but I've dated nothing but bisexual women for the last 10 years,
Okay.
15 years. And not intentionally asking a woman, are you bisexual? No, I'm not messing with you. Not none of that. It just happened to be um, kind of what I attracted.
Okay.
I don't know how, but it is. And that's what brought me into that lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Where I was messing with so many bisexual females and they would bring so many females. And like when dudes talk about females, and I've done things that millionaires have probably, if they never did, will pay millions to do with women. You see what I'm saying? Like literally with women. I have no problem with gay men, none of that. That's not my thing, though.
Okay.
Just anything to a woman, I'm cool. But
Sorry.
I just never met a woman who actually in my life, 39 years on this earth, um, who actually ain't truly. And what I mean by that is I've met so many swinger women that are single and was married and all of that, but I've never met one who's like that, because you're not swinging, but even Holly, I've never met a woman who's just so proud of herself. And what I mean by that's like, and I mean what I mean by that is most women hide it.
Right.
They hide, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Well,
it's
right.
not gonna let you know that side. It ain't gonna happen.
Right.
It ain't no way.
Scared of the shaming, the shaming.
Exactly.
And I get that.
And I'm more scared of you than anything. I'm like, damn, it's like looking in the mirror.
Why are you scared, little old me? I'm a nice lady.
Because it's like I've never met a woman that not like me.
I mean, well, it's good to know because I feel like okay. So I will tell you this. So I grew up with my brother, and then my mom kind of like let me stay with my uncles, and I have 5 uncles and my grandpa, and he kind of, he kind of was like the guy who took care of all this. So I was raised more like a boy for a long, very long time.
Not to cut you off, you hear your story? I grew up in a house with my grandmother, my auntie, my mother, my sister, my little cousin,
Hey,
and
Mickey.
my other little cousin. They were all women.
All women. Look at that.
I grew up learning women.
There you go.
I didn't, a lot of men take it two ways. They end up going towards a feminine side, but I stayed outside, plus I stayed in Chicago, so I stayed in the streets. So it brought me to knowing, you know what I'm saying? I had to, seriously, like when a man grows up in a household full of women, he tends to get feminine.
Come on.
Phone's ringing.
Okay.
If he doesn't have like a male role, it is like he'll turn out feminine if he be around a lot of women. And even girls, if they grow up around boys, if they don't find their feminine side, you know what I'm saying? They'll tend to be more dominant and rugged.
Right. I do feel that I've been told that.
I knew you grew up around me.
But not my whole life. Only that probably till I was like 11, and then I just grew up around being me, and that was it.
That was enough for you to learn.
I don't know. I guess because my mind, I kind of think like a guy. I'll give you that. In some thoughts, I don't really have like a lot of jealousy. But those things come from other things. I think like for me, I think jealousy stems from insecurity. So that's me.
Okay, I want to ask you this. Honestly, have you found a man yet that stood the test of time with your thinking?
So I have had. I've been basically. My whole life I've been kind of. I'll be monogamous because I was told that's what I should do, but I would date people who I knew were open to being like more like a swinger, or they were open to maybe me being outside of that genre, or if I wanted to. But I never cheated on any man with a man. No.
Okay.
And I never went outside of anything like that. So I was very monogamous acting because that's what we're told to do. And so then if I did have feelings for another man, I would tell myself I needed, I've told men together like I like both of you, and I don't want to choose. I've said that before. I've been in a couple situations where I've had to choose between two men, and I didn't really want to choose, but I felt like I thought there was no other option for me. But this last time, was like, I want to do this, and I just stuck to my guns and just was like, you know what? No, I want to, and I'm going to be open with that and be okay with that and let people know. And so I've been with one of my partners for probably like almost a year, and it's nice that he struggles with some things sometimes. I've made an interview with him on YouTube that I put on YouTube, and um, we've just been working together. He's a very good communicator, so I think it's worked for us. So he's withstood everyone so far. I had another one that I was with, and he was on tag. And I truthfully, I'll be honest, I really did have a good connection with him, and I thought he was going to be a long term partner. Truthfully, then I found out some like he was dating other women, and he told me, because he had to tell me, and I think he just had to just like dissolve everything, but I don't think it was necessarily like an emotional thing where it's like I hate you, I don't like you. It was just like this is you weren't truthful and honest, and we were supposed to be being truthful and honest. Because if he came to me and told me, even if he had lied to everyone else and just told me, hey, I am talking to other women, and I shouldn't be, I would have been more open to what he was doing and just work with him on the process of coming out and telling the truth than him just lying to me. So that was really an issue for me because honesty, and I can't stand people who lie like that. It bothers me a lot. So that was one of, he was going to be long term. I felt it, but it just didn't work out, and that's okay. It was a big breakup. That's why I mentioned it. It was bad because it involved so many other people.
You know what? I just, I don't know. I just can't.
Okay, what?
I don't have enough time.
Huh?
I just don't. I could live that life. I just don't have enough patience.
Oh, well, I mean, you know what?
That's where I just.
I date monogamous though. You may, if you date someone who's poly already, you probably won't have as many issues. There are a lot of people who are poly who only date poly.
How do you find that?
Oh well, I mean, on Facebook right now, there's groups that are women who are single and they want to be part of a pod, or they want to start a pod with men, and and get another woman. They're all over. I see them all the time, all day. There's black ones, there's white ones, all kinds of things on Facebook. Just put in poly. You do have to ask to be enter the group, but a lot of them are, you know, very open to it because they're already in the mindset. A lot of them aren't in group in couples though. They're by themselves.
This is the thing I don't.
I personally haven't seen a lot of polyandry women, which I actually I've been seeing a couple on here, and that's what made me kind of want to come out again and have the conversation about polyandry women, because women aren't really represented in that system very much. It's always polyamorous or being polygamous, and I think that we get overlooked. You know, you don't have to be bisexual. You could be heterosexual woman who wants just men, if that's what you want. If you don't have to be bisexual to be in a poly relationship. And so I think that's what like women are confused on. Or some women are like, well, I have to be okay with other women, or be at least okay with them platonically to be with my partner, or whatever, so we can be together. And that's not true. Because if you're polyandry, you don't have to do that at all.
Okay. So basically, in short terms, you want to love who you want to love when you want to love.
I think that's a good way to say it.
I knew I had you when I see your cheeks go up. You just like, that's that's a good one.
We'll put it in that category.
But I mean, but how do you feel when the person person that you love does that to you?
So so I'm a voyeur also. Um, so I'm okay with my partner being loved by someone else. I'm okay with that. I'm turned on by it and I enjoy it.
Okay, okay. And still, it's your night, and it ain't your night.
So I don't have a schedule myself. I don't need it with the men that I have. Um, I actually like I have a lot. I'll tell you with the amount of people I deal with, not having a schedule, I don't have an issue. I just never
Okay,
have.
but what if one night you want that person, and that person says he's
Wait,
look
I'm
at
not. Wait. You mean do I want that person and he's with someone else? Okay, so my partners are mostly monogamous. I don't have a partner that goes out with other women. I do have one partner that sometimes he does talk to other ladies. I'm aware of, and if it get he tells me about the ones that are possible interactions with, but usually he only want to interact when I'm there. But we haven't even had those. These are things that just happen because we already have a game plan in mind for situations like this. And it's only happened one time that we've had interaction with someone and we did it together, and it was that was a very nice interaction, and it was great, but it was done properly, I think. You know, I met her, I was told about her, she was told about me, she had a conversation with me, she actually reached out to me, we interacted a lot before anything ever happened. So that particular partner, he needs a little bit more stimulation than just physical attraction. So he makes tries to bond with someone. So it's a longer process for him. So for me, I know what he's doing and I'm okay with that. But he doesn't like he's not doing this every week. I do know that, but I'm okay with how he does his process, and he communicates so well that it doesn't matter. That I know that if something happens, that where he getting close to something happening, that he's gonna tell me about that person. He's gonna communicate with me, things he wants to do or things he feels about, because he feels safe when he talks to me. So that's what I'm saying. Those things don't really affect us in a negative manner. So if I called him and he was like, "Well, I'm going to go on a date with what's name," we've made an arrangement. I would say okay because he has told me what's going on. Someone made plans before me, and that's okay. Things come up, and if I'm not number one, that's okay because that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? I want to be important to you. I want to mean something really, great in your life. But I know that not everything that comes up in life is like I know I'm gonna be here. You going on a date with someone doesn't mean you're never gonna be here. It just means you're going on a date and this day is important for you to have an experience with someone else. It does not mean that you're never gonna come back to me. And I know that. And so since I know that, it's not really a big deal. That's what I mean by having trust. I know that you're going on a date. I know you're going to interact with someone else. I know you're going to hopefully have a great time. And I know that you're coming back to me. So what am I worried about? There's nothing really to worry about at all. Really. My worry is that you're not going to have a good time. You're going to be sad. Other than that, I don't have a worry. Um, in a negative way. That's just me. I don't have to be the first, but I mean, there has to be a line. If there is an issue where I feel like I'm not maybe getting enough of your time, we'll have a discussion about it. That's what communication's about. If I don't feel like you're giving me enough time and maybe you're overindulging, which can happen, new relationships cause that. New relationships calls for excitement and you're going to spend more time with the other person. I'm okay with that. Because I know when I have another new boyfriend, I get excited. When I get excited, I actually get excited with my other partner too because it just reminds me how thankful I am for you to be able to allow me to have a relationship with someone else and that you're going to be there and support me in the relationship that I'm trying to build with someone else. And so that attracts me to you even more. And so sometimes that even comes off as sometimes I think he said like, oh, when that happens, sometimes you make me feel like you're doing something bad, and so then I look at you like, why are you over loving me? I'm over loving you because I'm excited and I'm happy in the moment that we're sharing. and it makes me, want you more, um, which is weird, but that's what happens. So not only am I getting turned on by the new person, I'm getting turned on by my current partner also. So yes, those are things that occur. Um, and so yeah, I don't mind. If there is a calendar, there is, but my partners usually are very monogamous, so they only deal with one person. I'm not saying they're never gonna look at a girl with big ass or big titties. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's a process that we have, and that works for us, and I'm okay with that process. So you got to figure out what works for you, and then do that. So anyway, I appreciate you live. We got to hear some good entertainment there. Let me go ahead and end my live over here because it's been on for an hour and 30 minutes. Lord, Lord, Lord. Okay. Well, you guys have a good night, and I appreciate you. I might come back on later, but thanks, guys, for hanging out, and hopefully you watch the whole thing.